lots of frames. So I'm just waiting to see if this stream really worked, and you have to bear with me to start. I don't really have an adequate mic, so I have some weird microphone gaffer taped to my t-shirt, so I don't have to keep picking it up and putting it down. And yeah, welcome. We're just gonna patch away and just talk through the patch a little bit, maybe not, just kind of go with it and see what happens. All right, it's live. Good. Cool. So for me, a lot of times, yeah, this shirt thing is gonna get really annoying really fast. Okay, so this, a lot of times whenever I start patching now, I usually use the mapper to go as my main processing output. I don't have a visual cortex, so I'm using the RGB encoder, so mapper to RGB encoder, and there goes the mic. So only if you could see this. So a lot of times, and I actually have this upside down to the encoder, just for ease. Just felt a lot better to do this instead of having to always go up. I know that's so frivolous, but when you have a lot of stackables, that can really be crucial. So we're just going to mix and match these RG and Bs right now. So we have the B going into blue. Oh, actually, we have the B going into blue subconsciously, and then we have, green going into red, or vice versa. And then, let's just be clear about this. Okay, so with the mapper, we're going from red out to green on the encoder. We're going from green out on the mapper to red on the encoder, and we're going from blue out on the mapper to the blue on the encoder. And so now that I look up and see what we got, we have just some type of shady yellow. So what we're going to do, at least in this patch, so we'll just take, well, at least in this case, a lot of times what I've been doing, instead of using the video blend matrix, which I have for space and travel, I put in these two quad video mixers by Brown Shoes Only. So I use one of those going into the mapper. So the whole purpose of that is just, a more complex signal, and plus, since I have attenuators for each of them, I actually can have more control of the color depth, when there's a lot more layers, especially if you put in some ramps or divisions, which divisions is an amazing module for this type of stuff. So what we can do, let's start by just taking an oscillator and going to the staircase, and then we'll go from the staircase into the quad video mixer. Bam. Okay, so let's have it horizontal for the minute. And so I have an older ramps. There's just a few extra ones, but that's with the visual cortex. Essentially, it has, I think, more than half of them of a possibility. But just in this case, what we're doing, sorry, I don't know more about the visual cortex. I should, but this is what I got right now. So bam, what we're doing is using one of these ramps to darken the bottom part of the patch, and since I can attenuate it, it's something I could actually make CV-able. So let's actually do that too. One-handed. Bam, we'll do LFO to the bridge. We're just making a multiple, and we'll take that out. Actually, sorry, I need to make that a stackable. Alright, stackables are great, but at the same time, especially when you have really involved patches, they can introduce a lot of noise. Even them just on the output like this, they can introduce a lot of noise. But I mean, it's a sacrifice of what you want to do. That's just a random note. Okay. So okay, so you can see how now when I do the LFO through that, it actually goes from the bottom to the top, shading it. So that's one cool thing you could do to create a little more dense well, not even dense, but something with more dimension to it, especially when it's pushing away. If I can slow it down, if you're able to focus the center of it, probably with some other ramps, you could get something that actually looks rather 3D. Maybe I can do that. I don't know. I'm just theorizing some stuff now. I literally have no idea. See, there goes some stackables. No. Okay, so I just put another ramp in here. So what that one is the dark side. I want to say that's the negative and positive side, so left, right, vertical. And so, yeah. So we're able to, especially with this mixer, you see what I mean, is that you could actually have some good control performance-wise, but also CV-wise, you can do some really cool things. So even let's jack it up. And so this is how you can actually get some patterns like this. They're almost like drapes or curtains, yeah. That's, I don't know, I love patterns like that. Nice slow moving, maybe a line or two, creating some really unique pattern that makes it just look organic. And even if it's not that, I mean, unique is probably the wrong word, but more of an organic feel to it. It's really nice. So, well, that's just one oscillator. We aren't even CVing that or anything, or using Navigator or anything, but actually let's set that up with this other oscillator, older oscillator I got right here. Okay. And actually I'm going to make one of them from stackable from the divisions. I don't know why, I don't even know if it would it look really good, but we'll just give it a shot. So now I want to do another stackable out. We're going to do one to the multi-mode filter, and we're going to have to, hands, set up one, that goes to the shape changer, and the other one I want to go to the shape changer as well. Obviously, that combo is just ridiculous. That's just an amazing piece of, it's art. It's art what these things can do. I don't even know. Things that you can pluck out of the air is just obnoxious. So let's take the vertical, put it into this other mixer. Actually set up the second mixer to go into S. See, here we go. Now we can have a little more color control by using the difference to the RGB, and then we're doing the brightness. What was it? Brightness, luminance, and the chroma. So now you can see, for example, this is the divisions, creating this vertical pattern. So let me slow this down. So it's a brown shoes only LFO. So actually, let's also go from the filter. Let's see, there we go. Into the quad mixer. So what I just did, I just now have the navigator hooked up with also the divisions linked into it with this oscillator right here. So even if we did horizontal, yeah, so you wouldn't notice it as much. Actually, let's modulate that too. Let's do a new one. Yeah, let's make that vertical. Not too much, too much. And I also forgot I have this TV here. Why am I not using it? Oh, it's not plugged in. I have to plug in this TV real quick. It's gonna take like a second. There we go. Awesome. I hope you heard that go on. So in the background, we got this LFO, which is part of this waveform generator right here. And so we're going to try to see if we can, it's probably playing with the mapper, as you can see, and get a lot of depth, but this is how I can actually, let's just flipped over this. Okay, so here we go. Let me slow this down. Slow you down. I can even get you to do this. Okay, see, we only have this one. Oh, yeah, see, that's the issue with stackables right there. So we have this other oscillator back here, which we can't really see yet, which this happens. Okay, see, it's just a stackable issue. I think. Or is it just this cable? Oh no. Interesting. See. Whoa. Oh, it's probably the cable. Let me try another one. I have to get a new one, so that's, I know, potentially one of, yep, see, just a cable issue. So now, I'm going to go vertical with this again. Now we're going to create some more depth. Okay. So a lot of what I've done so far is always color space mapper, for me at least, out. And then from there I'm using the quad mixers as hubs to go into the mapper and then out. So far, the first quad mixer, it's mainly just been this prismatic ray video oscillator into the multiplier, which is a staircase, into the quad mixer. And then I also added a ramps and, what was the other thing? Ramps in an LFO. The second one, what that is actually the waveform generator going into the navigator. One of the navigators also having the divisions going in, or have the divisions going in, as well as the sine wave and saw wave into the navigator. Then out of the navigator, we're going to the shape changer, but also to the video filter, which you can see me manipulating right there. That is also going into the quad mixer. So we're just using these hubs and then trying to mull around, try to find something unique. That's actually pretty nice. Right there, you can't really see it on your screen. I think it's, let me get it darker. Yeah. See, let me change the combination of this. Actually. So now we are just going natural. So R is going into blue, G is going into G, blue is going into red. So now, as you can see, we have this really cool teal and pink, like fuchsia color. And that's pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty nice and subtle. There's some really nice depth to that. But I really like it, but it does, I feel like there should be some more horizontal spacing, something to define it a little more, give it more character than it just being all vertical lines. So let's see what we can do. So, yeah, we gotta modulate some of these video synths, or not synths, oscillators. I'm so tired. Let's just do it from here. Okay, so let's go back to this. So, okay, we're sort of getting something, but it's the ramps that's causing that. But see, I just changed the brightness, and now we can at least see what's going on a little better. Before the ramps, that's something I noticed. Which I mean, I totally love it at the same time. It's because you're trying to see I'm attenuating the depth. I mean, I don't know the exact science behind it, but you know, when you're in a certain color scope, it just completely goes out. So it's just a weird caveat that you just encounter. So now we're going to go back to this LFO. Let's change the multiplier to go all the way down to divide by 5. Okay, here we go. So now all I did was just increase the range on the waveform generator. More horizontal lines, see there's none more. And so now that's actually being controlled by the LFO, which it's doing some FM synthesis, frequency modulation. And so next, let's see what we got. Yeah, so now I'm going to play with the staircase. And so because I use the divisions over here, which, I thought that was actually it. See, this is what happens sometimes. Okay, so it's actually this waveform generator, or this prismatic ray, sorry. That because when I decrease the gain, I was able to have more detailed patterns. See, this is the thing, even when you play around with it, I get lost. I mean, I think everyone does, because it's hard to interpret and know exactly where everything is, and it's a constant learning process, especially knowing, when there's more modules and more complexity, it can be very challenging. But isn't that what's so fun about it? So all I did there was just change the gain, and then I just messed with the multiply. So now, I'm going to CV this with the gradient of here. And so now I'm going to move the navigator around a little bit. Let's see what we can get. It's going to keep wigging though, I have a feeling. Yep. Okay, so let's go another route. Let's just do it from here. And then kind of getting stumped. So actually, let's just go from here again. Here being the staircase, we're doing the, which was this, a divide by 1 going into this quad mixer. Okay. So let's change the LFO rate. I totally forgot about this LFO. So the whole point, now I have these slow rates. And if I can, sometimes I can get it to happen. Maybe it's because I have these on very edge to be saw waves. Let's slow you down. Yeah, see, it's tough with these. I've used this a lot. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. No. See, you can now, okay, see, this is where you can see with the quad mixer before the mapper, look at how much extra control you could have in terms of a performance. And this goes for probably the color chords. I haven't really used one, but in principle, it's the same thing. The video blend matrix. So, put those completely up. And so that was on the left side. So this is just, it's going again too fast. Well, that one's nice in the background, but this one, let's just actually bring that down and have it go slow so it looks like it's lighting up and making it darker. Yeah, there we go. And that, what I just did there, I just changed the multiply back to the normalized setting for the multiple. So if I sped it up, it'd look something like this, which actually is pretty cool. It's actually pretty nice. And again, all criticism on this mic is very much welcome because it's garbage. So let's turn down this LFO again. Let's bring that one back up. And yeah, this one nice and slow. So, but actually, I'm just gonna completely put it down and see what other things I can get really quick. I'm gonna just take out one of these, which I just took out the green to green and put red to green, and now green to blue. Actually, I'm gonna take out that green to blue. Okay, here we go. Nice. See, let me CV the staircase. Then things will be nicer. See, I can already tell that's gonna be better. Let's do this. Let's just be bold and do the stencil all the way to H. Input. Okay. Okay, see with the divisions, segregating the screen. Maybe I want some more depth. Bam, put it into 5. There we go. There we go. So I just changed it to horizontal on the waveform generator. So now let's keep that there. We're changing, what is that again? That's the frequency, and then mess with the pedestal, multiply. Back to, okay. See, now I just feel like it's kind of going sideways. But let me just plug this back in. Maybe it'll be better. That just happens sometimes, at least for me. I don't know if other people experience that, but it's like, oh, you're going with it, and it feels so good, and then you just take this hard left turn, and then bam, where'd it go? I don't know, I've tried to, for a while, whenever I just feel that, like, oh, okay, I'm at my end, and just kind of stop it and try to be really good with time. Sometimes can help to really encapsulate your time that way, you know, to say, oh, I'm going to give it this amount, and then either stop or just, like, keep going with it and just trust yourself, like, yeah, I could do more, but, you know, let's just save what's in the tank. You know, no need to blow out your knees every single time. Okay, so all I did was now just increase the frequency on the prismatic ray. See, what I'm going to do instead of taking the sine wave out of the waveform generator, I'm going to actually put it to the ramps for this horizontal one, and I have a feeling it'll be better. And, oh, I don't even have that covered, the other shape changer. Let's actually put that into this prismatic, right? Cool. There we go. Now, see, sometimes you just gotta ride it out. And now we got some gnarly fucking pattern. Sorry for swearing, gnarly pattern. Well, feel like that may be a good stopping point. So to quickly review again, main things that happened, describing the color space mapper out to the encoder. It's like our main form of going out. Let me slow this down too so it'll be nice and lush. Come on. There we go. And then, okay, so color space mapper, then mainly having two big channels, not big channels, but the main lanes for two quad video mixers from brown shoes only. So one was going into the Y, one was going into the S. Then mainly on the first one, that's the one I'm pointing at right here, the quad video mixer is mainly taking this prismatic ray through the staircase, and then plus some ramps and an LFO, that's right, and now the stencil from the shape changer. The second one, that was taking mainly from the shape changer, which was from the waveform generator into the navigator into shape changer, and that was going into that, plus the output of that navigator into triple mode filter, which also went into this lane as well. Then later on, I took the staircase from the original lane setting and put it into the second one, increase some interest. Use this video oscillator as FM or a modulation source for this other prismatic ray. Then I use the triple video or one of the LFOs to modulate the FM of this waveform generator. And then I actually switched out from the sine wave to the navigator just to get it, give it some more dimension, because I wasn't getting anything out of there, and usually ramps are the best. In the times I've used this so far, I've found the best results coming from various ramps or a mixture of a ramps and an oscillator. And so once I did that, I actually got this pattern. You can see it controlled so much, and then I just said, you know, oh, just found it. That's the place to stop. Just do the quick little turnaround, and you can see what I did, and then, yeah. Thanks for watching.